Ever wonder how long Steve Kerr could deal with Draymond Green's antics? Well, don't, because the Warriors head coach is furious at his forward at the moment, and he is not holding back. Join me as I walk you through why Steve Kerr is finally heated at Draymond for getting ejected again. Steve Kerr has finally reached a breaking point. 178 personal fouls, 6 suspensions, 18 ejections, and an indefinite suspension. Draymond Green seemed to have finally stretched Steve Kerr's patience. His recent suspension for punching Nurkic in the face appears to have finally ruined his relationship with Steve Kerr. Keep in mind, this is the same coach who has sided with him for many years despite his multiple unsportsmanlike behaviors. This is the same coach who openly said it would be dangerous to temper him because it would take away his edge. For many years now, the forward behavior has gone unchecked, with his recklessness and ego on and off the court enabled by both Kerr and the Warriors front office. Kerr's reasons had always been that the Warriors needed Draymond, to be their enforcer and the loudest voice on the team. Unfortunately, a volatile player without restriction could only go one way. It can only go wrong. So wrong that not even Steve Kerr can take it anymore. For up to a decade, Kerr has often excused Draymond's antics, even when he almost hit Kerr during a halftime argument in 2016. So who could possibly forget his suspension in Game 4 of the 2016 final for hitting LeBron in the groin? It was completely avoidable, but since Draymond is a volatile player with no restrictions, Kerr had to watch his team lose by 15 without his defensive leader in Game 5. It is important to remember that his suspension came because he accumulated 4 flagrant foul points in the 2016 playoffs, one of which was because of this. At the time when he was asked for his actions, Draymond was unapologetic, even telling reporters that he is never going to be careful because he is an emotional player. However, it wasn't long before his unstable emotions cost the Warriors the 2016 NBA Finals. And while it did, Kerr did nothing but defend him. Kerr even went as far as to tell Draymond that he owes no one an apology because the Warriors would not be in the finals without him. We thrive off Draymond's competitiveness and his edge, and it has been very important for us this year. And maybe that same quality has led him to this point, just his competitiveness and his passion. That's all part of it, Kerr stated at the time. When Draymond got suspended for insulting Kevin Durant, Steve Kerr said, "Things happen sometimes." When Draymond almost cost the Warriors the Western Conference first-round playoff series when he stomped on Domantas Sabonis' chest, Kerr said there is no stopping Draymond, and he accepts who he is. Steve Kerr stated that he would support Draymond regardless of his antics, and he appeared to do so even when Draymond choked Rudy Gobert. Just after the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Steve Kerr claimed he had no problem with Draymond getting Gobert because he needed to protect Klay Thompson. However, after the forward got suspended for 5 games, Steve Kerr, for the first time ever, openly criticized Draymond Green. When he called Draymond's behavior inexcusable and told the press that his 5-game ban was justified, you could tell Steve Kerr was finally tired of Draymond's antics and extremely close to a breaking point with his star forward. It was the first time ever since he started coaching Draymond that he publicly called him out and held him accountable. However, while you would expect that the forward would learn from that and be better, he did this less than a month after he got back. Explaining why he did what he did at a crucial game, Draymond said, "Now at this point you could just tell, Kerr had had the last of it when he said his star forward needs a long time away from the NBA. After several years of coddling and enabling Draymond Green's behavior, you could tell Kerr was not just heated at the 2016-2017 Defensive Player of the Year, but also had finally run out of patience with him." So is Steve Kerr actually running out of patience? If there is one thing many NBA fans can't agree with, it is that Steve Kerr has been patient with Draymond Green. Several head coaches have fallen out with their players for far less. I mean, we are talking about a forward who cost them the 2016 NBA championship with his suspension. A veteran who ruined the Warriors' 2022-2023 season when he punched Jordan Poole and forced the Warriors to choose him over Jordan Poole, who was set to be the future of the Warriors. a defensive leader that Kerr and the Warriors trusted with a $100 million contract extension, but has only played 15 games this season because he has racked up a 5-game suspension and an indefinite suspension so far. Kerr's patience with Draymond has earned him criticism from NBA analysts such as Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. At a time when Steve Kerr is losing patience with the team's core group, Draymond has done nothing to improve his reputation. In case many don't know, Draymond was repeatedly asked by Steve Kerr to take Poole out to dinner in an attempt to mend their relationship, but he declined each time. For more than a decade now, Kerr has allowed Draymond to be Draymond, not because he is fine with his antics, but because he is their most vocal leader and best defender. Unfortunately, at a crucial time when he is needed by Kerr and the team, he will be absent, which surprisingly has turned out to also be good, because without Green on the court, the Warriors have proven to play better. When Draymond is on the court, the Warriors allow 119.8 points per 100 possessions, but surrender just 112.1 points per 100 possessions when he is off. Without Draymond, the Golden State Warriors have outscored opponents by 3.3 points per 100 possessions. And with Draymond, the Warriors have been outscored by 5.8 points per 100 possessions. Moreover, he is not as formidable as he used to be around the rim as he once was, as opponents shoot 7.8 percentage points higher than their averages while Draymond is on the floor this season. Now, for what it's worth, there are whispers that the power forward might be traded out soon, and it doesn't help that the former Warriors general manager Bob Myers once said Kerr is just as feisty as Draymond and can only take so much. Steve Kerr is one of the most competitive people I've met. He disguises it, but it does come out. Unlike Draymond, where he almost embodies it and exudes it, Steve is more under the surface. It's more burning. It's simmering inside, Bob Myers stated. For up to a decade now, Steve Kerr has been extremely patient with Draymond, and it's only natural that he has had enough of his most difficult player in the NBA. Interestingly, it wouldn't be the first time that Kerr wanted to trade Draymond. Early on in their second season together, they had their biggest fight that almost tore apart the Warriors dynasty before it even started. They were only able to get past it because Steve Kerr decided to be the bigger person. But can he at this moment? What do you think? Difficult relationship. Steve Kerr and Draymond weren't always as close as they are now, and surprisingly, both men have grown from a difficult relationship, one which Draymond said in 2015, "From the start of training camp, Kerr hated me. That's no lie. He probably still hates me. That's no lie." Draymond, as many in the NBA know, escaped the realm of a role player with not just his talent, but his ego. An ego that has many times been a problem, even for Steve Kerr. On numerous occasions, the Golden State Warriors head coach has admitted that he won't try to tame Draymond's tempers. And while you might have thought it because he never tried as a rookie coach, I'm sorry to say, he did, it just didn't end well. You see, coming into the league as a head coach, Steve Kerr had a legendary rookie year. He was the first NBA rookie head coach to win 21 of his first 23 games. With 67 wins in the 2014-2015 season, Steve Kerr is the highest rookie head-winning coach in NBA history. In Steve Kerr's first season, the Warriors were first in defensive efficiency for the season and second in offensive efficiency. That season, Steve Kerr led the Warriors to their first championship in 40 years. For that championship run, Steve Kerr had made Draymond a full-time starter. And for Kerr's team, while Steph Curry and Klay Thompson got praise for their offensive output, Draymond was the backbone of Steve Kerr's offensive and defensive lineup. When he's at his best, we're at our best. When he's at his worst, we suffer. I have said many times, he's like the heartbeat of the team. However, at the start of his second year as the Warriors head coach, Steve Kerr was sidelined by a severe back issue that saw Luke Walton become the acting coach for 43 games. And without the strict Steve Kerr, the Warriors' core, particularly Draymond Green, had gone unruly under Walton. Walton had allowed the players, particularly, to play a little looser and even freer. Under Walton, Draymond was attempting 3.6 three-pointers per game and making 41.4% of them. He increased his assist average from 3.7 to 6.6, and a man who only had 2 triple-doubles in his first 3 seasons was now a nightly triple-double threat. Unfortunately, when Steve Kerr returned, Draymond began to average 0.6 three-point attempts, making just 28.6%. Steve Kerr was back, and Draymond was not just restricted, but was going through a shooting slump. So it didn't take long that they almost came to blows. During halftime of the Warriors game against the Oklahoma City Thunder in February of 2016, the Warriors star forward and coach had to be separated in the locker room. Steve Kerr had snapped at his forward's performance after he got back and told him to sit down, but Draymond snapped back as he kept shouting, "I am not a robot. I know I can play. You have me messed up right now. If you don't want me to shoot, I won't shoot the rest of the game." According to an ESPN reporter who was present at the scene, the situation was so intense that the Oklahoma City police had to be present around the locker room. They were, however, separated in due time, and privately Draymond was fined. But still angry about the incident, the forward told reporters, "I asked to be fined. You can report that." It was the first and last time, until recently, that a trade for Draymond Green was seriously rumored. At the time, Steve Kerr was furious at his star power forward, but he eventually had to be the bigger person. And he even downplayed the issue in front of the press, maintaining that what had happened, while unusual, was not unique. Shockingly, just a year after their fight in Oklahoma, Draymond once again got into it with Steve Kerr in late February 2017. At the time, the Warriors were cruising with 49 wins in their first 58 games, but Draymond was pissed at Steve Kerr because, in his words, he didn't feel like the Warriors were playing the right way. Tensions between Steve Kerr and Draymond unfortunately peaked during a bout of the Brooklyn Nets. During the game, Steve Kerr played Green for just 23 minutes and benched him for the final 10-25. According to Steve Kerr, "He was bitching at me. He was pissed about whatever was going on in the game. I don't even remember. I was pissed at him, and it just felt like, you know what, let's not talk here for the rest of the game." Luckily, they once again were able to resolve their issue because Steve Kerr decided to be the bigger person, and soon they were able to return to the NBA Finals in 2017, only to lose to the LeBron James-led Cavs. Because? Take a guess. His flagrant foul triggered a suspension that gave the Cavs the momentum to come back from 1-3 in the series. And just when he was highly needed by the Warriors and Steve Kerr, he failed them. In the coming years, he has been instrumental in helping the Warriors and Kerr win 3 more championships. But at what cost? Because right now, Steve Kerr appears to be completely fed up with his latest shenanigans, and we can only wait on what he would do to him. Anyway, Steve Kerr isn't the only one currently heated at Draymond Green. A lot of Warriors fans are too, and one recently commented, "Draymond's lucky he got drafted to this team. Otherwise, he'd be out of the league since 2017. Another user said Steve Kerr protected Draymond Green over and over, which in turn allowed Draymond to get worse and worse. The Warriors dynasty as we once knew it is over. Draymond needs to go. So let me know your opinion about Draymond down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this video, the next video on your screen is also worth your time.